They ripped off Bertie Bassett with this!
I beg your pardon.
It's easy to see why Doctor Who became a ridiculed topic when it came to the late 80s. Crap stories, crap twins, weird costume, and season 24 exists. While it's simple to mock season 24, I have grown to appreciate the nightmares the production team faced when trying to deliver it. The end result was a far cry from the heyday of Tom Baker, but I can't really blame them. Producer John Nathan Turner did everything he could to ensure Doctor Who would continue despite the looming threat of cancellation. Cheers, Michael Grade! It has been suggested that he did want to move on by the time Sylvester McCoy was instated as the Doctor, but J&T ended up remaining as a producer for the remainder of the classic series run. So behind the scenes, one would feel there was no improvement, but a big change which necessitated the improvement in story quality was the introduction of new script editor Andrew Cartmel. While he was officially script editor for season 24, the consensus is that these stories were not up to the standard they should have been. In fairness to Cartmel though, he was hired later in the day. By the end of the season, there were small signs that changes were afoot. Season 25 is where the McCoy era begins to truly shine. Compared to the previous season, this one was chalk and cheese. Well, almost. As this was the 25th anniversary of Doctor Who, the season started with a bang. Remembrance of the Daleks is a must-see for any newcomer to the classic series. It showcases the right direction the show was going in under the supervision of Cartmel. The use of familiar settings, the change in the 7th Doctor's persona, the inclusion of new companion Ace, portrayed perfectly by Sophie Aldred, the constant callbacks to previous adventures from many years prior, not to mention the amazing Dalek set pieces. Oh man, this had it all, baby. You can hear more on what I think about Remembrance in this video here. All I'll say now is this is one of my favourite Doctor Who stories of all time. Potentially top 10. I'm glad this is how the season began, because this was allegedly meant to be the finale. It truly felt like Doctor Who had regained its mojo with this one story, but was it just a one-off? Well, the Happiness Patrol followed, and I have to say, this is not talked about enough, in a positive way anyway. During Michael Gray's appearance on Room 101 many years later, this particular story was made a mockery of.
Now this one is called The Candyman.
Due to its villain bearing a resemblance to Bertie Bassett. To the common viewer, the Candyman was ridiculous. For me, he, along with what the story had to offer, is often misunderstood due to the look. What the Happiness Patrol succeeds with is its political messages, with another character, Helen A, being a reference to the then British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. It's here where Helen A oppresses everyone on the planet with her rule, as she wants to eliminate unhappiness. It's very dystopian, in a similar vein to Paradise Towers, but far better. The climax of this is particularly powerful, as the 7th Doctor perfectly explains to the villain, as well as the viewer,
Happiness is nothing unless it exists side by side with sadness.
There's even gay subtext here with some characters. By the way, I love that pink TARDIS. The message I take away from this is that everyone should have their own autonomy. This story is still relevant today because of these themes, and proves again that Doctor Who was more than capable of hitting a high note in the late 80s. This was far more than a product of its time. To cap it off, McCoy is just superb in this.
Look me in the eye. Pull the trigger. End my life.
Remembrance was certainly not a one-off. The next story, Silver Nemesis, is officially the 25th anniversary story. While I personally see Remembrance as the true bearer of that title, the Cybermen were a suitable choice to show up for the show's silver anniversary celebrations because the silver. This one is filled to the brim with ideas. It has an exciting premise. Unfortunately, this feels like the exact same plot as Remembrance, with a few story elements changing just to suit the plot. It feels truncated with too many ideas. A Fourth Reich, Lady Penfort, random celebrity cameos, along with the mystery of the Doctor's name, and Cybermen getting their asses kicked by a bow and arrow. That's pathetic. Admittedly, this is the weakest of the season due to it retreading familiar grounds so soon after Remembrance. Perhaps our perception would be different if this aired first. Alas, I'm glad how things turned out in the end, because this is only 3 episodes. Fans would benefit more from an extended edition, which is thankfully reinstated on the Season 25 Blu-ray set. Despite its many drawbacks, Silver Nemesis is at least still watchable. It manages to entertain me with its mindless action sequences. Ace kicks ass yet again, and I love the scenes surrounding the mystery of the Doctor. I, like the gods of Ragnarok, was also entertained by the finale to the season, the greatest show in the galaxy. What a fantastic piece of TV this story truly is. It takes place in a psychic circus. Everyone is at their wits' end due to the evil nature of some characters like this clown, and the small matter of being forced into perform for evil hosts to entertain them. If the hosts are not entertained, then you die. It's a dark story, and this was captured perfectly by Alan Waring's direction. It is another must-see adventure of the McCoy era. This notably showcases McCoy's range as an actor, as he effortlessly transitions from being clownish one minute to dead serious the next. This is the essence of what this incarnation of the Doctor truly is. As muddled as the broadcast order was, by the end of the season, there was a clear sign that Doctor Who had begun to reach new heights, with mystery elements brought back into the show for the first time arguably since the black and white era. You could argue it was not perfect, but don't forget, Doctor Who had a very strict budget. Lesser episodes were getting produced at this point. The limited resources which the writers and directors had were put to full use, and what we got here was one of the strongest seasons of Doctor Who. The Cartmel master plan was in full flow. What followed was another strong season, tying some loose ends. Doctor Who had once again become the mysterious show it once was. This did not last too long, however, as the show was cancelled, thus ending a beautiful resurgence for our favourite Time Lord.
Ashes to ashes.
Fun to fuck it.